Okay, people. So, the Ballad of Davy Crockett. Yes. Now, you may have seen it listed as Savage Lands, but I do believe it has officially changed its name now to the Ballad of Davy Crockett. It is the new film from Derek Estlin Purvis. He wrote and directed it. His first film since 2017. Okay, so yeah, he's come back. It is produced by Michael Mailer, executive produced by Derek Estlin Purvis and Gary Milwicki. Associate produced by Bobby Marco, line produced by Tamira Brooks. Stephen Kesh handles the music. James King is on cinematography. Eric Staples edits the piece, while casting is from Donald Paul Pemrick. So, production design, we got Nate Griffin and Ruby Godara. Susanna Pusto handles costume design. Hair and makeup, we have Monica Spendlove, Stacey Lockhart, Martina Goffiter, Laura Goodwin, Jenny Garner, Melinda Dunn, and Linda Boykin Williams. Our cast. Well, people, the legend himself, Davy Crockett, is played by William Moseley. His wife, Polly, is played by Valerie Jane Parker. His oldest son, John, is played by Wyatt Parker. And youngest son, William, is played by Nico Tirozzi. We've got Caleb, played by Colin Meaney. Spike, played by Jesse Hutch. There's Andrew Jackson, played by Edward Finlay. Davis Bridger, played by Craig Morgan. We got Dawani, played by Grey Wolf Herrera. Daniel Boone, played by Tommy Kramer. Jensen, played by Gianni Bissiti Jr. Old Man, played by Nick Bensman. Wilkes, played by Rocky Abou-Sakher. Margaret is played by Asia Teruda. There's James Polk, played by Andreas Eriksson. Martin Van Bruin, played by Casey Fuller. Creek Redstick, played by Jared Lozano. Spirit. Who else? We got Moret, played by Chris Bryant. Okay, we got a number of trappers, right? So some of these are played by Jason Gupton, Daniel Norris, Tom Culler, Brian Height, Ryan Green, Philip Dido, Jamie Di Domenico, right? Yeah, that's probably our main group of people. Okay. So the gist of the story is this. In 1815, an American legend whose wife has fallen deathly ill, leaving his young children to survive on their own, must fight his way back to them across the many perils found in the savage lands of the wild frontier. Dum, dum, dum. Now, this does kind of remind me of those Saturday morning films as a kid, right? It's kind of authentic. but kind of goofy. You know what I mean? Now, this is it's an indie film. It's a low budget film, right? They fundraised on Indiegogo. So to be able to get this up and running, got to give props to everyone involved, you know? And you can see like they try to get the authenticity there. They've tried to get the look and the feel, the coloring of it. That feels right, right? There's a lot of things working here. We start off and yeah, Polly is ill. She's laid up in bed, right? You've got John and Will. They're trying to work out what to do. There's not really a lot of food. They're hoping that Davy, their dad, comes home soon. Right? They've been given, certain instructions, right? Don't venture this far, don't do this thing. But they're like, yo, we've got to eat. Right? So we've got this situation. Then Caleb, right? He's the oh gosh, like he runs the camp. He's in control of the pelt hunting, and he's investigating a shortfall. Right? There's fault that people have been stealing, so he's trying to work all of that out. Right? And then we've got Davy. Davy is in Washington with Andrew Jackson and the crew, and they're talking about signing this bill. Signing this bill so they can eradicate the savages from the land, right? Get rid of them. So we got these three different kind of storylines going on. And, everything looks good. Everything looks good. So I think our first bit of misfortune really is Davy on his journey home, where he has an accident. Now, that's all fine. That's all well and good. The only problem is, right, we do see it throughout. There's a few accidents and predicaments where people are kind of moving pretty fine afterwards, right? When you consider what went down, right? If you've been beaten, if you've been whipped, if you've broken something, fallen, taken, a kicking, it's not, you're not just walking willy-nilly around. Certain things take days, if not weeks or months, you know? So there is that. And we do have that situation. Now, it's not like certain things. I remember when Spartacus, I believe, came out, right? There was another show that came out dealing with the same situation. I think it was a Disney show at the time, I think, right? But it was all shiny. Now, Spartacus was kind of crazy with the CGI blood and everything. This other show, though, was too shiny, right? And that's always something that's just like, you've lost me, man. Now, this isn't shiny. They don't do that, which is great. People are a bit too clean, though, right? When you've been sleeping on the ground or ill in bed or just, no one's been looking after you for days, your clothes are going to be grimy. You know what I mean? If you've been traveling for days, likelihood you might be growing a beard, right? There's just those things that get forgotten, get missed. Now, I will say that happens on a lot of things, right? There's a lot of films, big budget films, where you're just like, hold on. if they've been traveling all that time, what the deal with the hair? You know what I mean? Like, yo, what's happening here? Their teeth are so white. Like, huh? So, that's although we do see it here, we see it a lot. So, that's just a besides. That's a besides. I will say Moseley does a very good job of giving us this character where we're meant to believe he has got a thoughtful demeanor, right? He's very hesitant at being rash and doing certain things, and I think we get that brought to us well. We can believe in him as Davy Crockett, meaning it's not a bad villain. I mean, we've seen him play a villain a lot post Star Trek, and he does it pretty well. Now, there are a few times where you do feel that his lines need to be harder, right? There's a bit where he's, you know, using the law, right? And you just think, I'm not sure if you'd be doing that considering what you've done, right? I don't know. I feel you would be more gloating. Now, you might be using the law, but in more of more in the context of who do you think the law will believe, me or you, right? That kind of context, not like, oh, I followed. You know what I mean? I just thought that I wanted that from that character. So I think, but that I would say is more in the writing than meaning. You know what I mean? I think the acting is pretty solid. We do get some little slips in accent, right? There are definitely some slips in the accent. And yo, we don't get the hat. We don't get the classic hat, right? Which I remember from, the TV series, the films, the black and whites, all of those things. We do get a raccoon used as a bandage, which probably not the most hygienic, right? Probably not the most hygienic, right? That could, you know what I mean? That could speed gangrene on. That could speed gangrene on, man. But yeah, it's not like, it's our historic reenactment, right? It's a story giving us those early days of old Davy Crockett, the origin, as it were. Now, it's not in the vein of a gladiator, a Napoleon, a revenant, right? A historical piece that really imbues the time and everything so well, so well. But as I said, it's kind of your gateway drug too. It's the thing that you might put the kids in front of, right? They've got a paper to write for school. You know what I mean? And they'll be like, we need to know who's Davy Crockett. So you might give them that, and they'll be like, oh, interesting. I'm gonna go. I'll read those books, right? I want to know more. You know what I mean? I think it's that kind of thing that your little kids would digest and enjoy. It's one of those type of films. I can't actually remember what the rating is on this. I don't think it's crazy high. I'd imagine it's probably a 12A, maybe like PG-13, something like that, because we don't really get a lot of so kind of some blood, but not gushing or anything. Like we see it on a bandage type of thing. You know what I mean? So there's not a whole heap of crazy violence. There's no nudity, nothing like that. So yeah, I think your little kids, you know what I mean? I think you could put them in front of this, give them a little education, right? I think that's what this will work as. So it is available now on all VODs. So if you want some light-hearted adventure, right? Light-hearted adventure, nothing too crazy, then maybe the Ballad of Davy Crockett will work for you.